So let's go into our special topic then. Our special thing, which is going to include a visual. So I'm sorry, audio listeners, but don't worry, I will be narrating this. It's going to be a little bit more improvised, but I have done a little bit of preparation for this voice clip tier list, which, I mean, really all the preparation I did for that was re-listen to all the voice clips for the characters I'm going to be doing a tier list for. So I guess we should tune into my computer screen to see what this list is going to have. But like I said, don't worry too much, viewers. I will ensure that you can understand what all is going on here. Now, I guess for those of you who don't know what a tier list is, I should probably explain that. But I'd imagine if you're watching this, you probably do know what a tier list is already. So a tier list is a special kind of ranking system where you, instead of ranking like this is first, second, third, fourth, fifth, you group a set of entities of some kind into a category. So this is typically done with fighting games already, where certain characters will be ranked high tier, some will be ranked mid tier, some will be ranked low tier. And a lot of people make tier lists just for funsies like this to show like, wow, what if, like, where would we place some of these? So in this case, I have a tier list from, for the voice clips, ranking from S, A, B, C, D, as well as the common, unofficial, so it's actually kind of hard to rank tier, and the extra Edgeworths tier, which you see in every tier list. It's a really common thing, I assure you. But in our case, we're here to rank the voice clips of various characters in the Ace Attorney series. Now, those of you who don't play the series might think that's a bit of a strange thing to make a list out of, but those of you who listened to this whole thing because you already know all the spoilers and the like, probably think this is kind of a cool thing to do. And I'm not sure if I assume someone has done this before on the internet, but I haven't found any videos on it. So I hope I'm actually blazing a new trail here for tier list and Ace Attorney related videos. So, and when I'm talking about the voice clips here, I'm talking about when the characters do their objections, their hold its, and their take that's, and whatever else. Like Apollo's got a gotcha, and all that sort of fun stuff. Now, I was joking earlier about the extra Edgeworths. For whatever reason, there were 3 classic Edgeworths listed in here. His young self, as well as his present day of the time when the game takes place version of Edgeworth. And all of these characters that I've listed here in the unofficial, so it's actually it's kind of hard to actually rank, are all characters from Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Because, well, I haven't played it yet, so I would not know very well where to rank these characters as far as their clips go. But also, none of these clips are from an actual official game. So, while the actors who portrayed these characters, I'm sure, did phenomenal work in creating their voice clips, I don't think it's fair for me to rank them up against all the other characters. So we're going to start at the bottom here and just start going up. Starting with, of course, the classic, the original Phoenix Wright. And I think I'm going to put him in the... I'm going to put him in the A tier. So the thing about the classic characters leading up to Apollo Justice is that none of the characters actually voiced by voice actors. They were all voiced by members of the localization team. So in this case, Phoenix Wright was voiced by Ben Judd, who was essentially the representative for Keiji Inafune, who's completely unrelated to the series other than being like a producer for a handful of the games, like Apollo Justice. But other than that, he didn't actually have a hand on creating the games. But, I mean, the classic Phoenix Wright voice clips are... Well, they're the quintessential objection, hold it, and take that. They're the 3 that you base all the rest on, in my opinion. Now, I said I wanted to start from the bottom, but I actually want to detour and go for modern Phoenix Wright, who, I mean, this might annoy some people, but I'm going to put it in S tier. And here's why. So, when I was thinking about, well, how would I rank the second trilogy, or, well, the Dual Destinies and beyond, Phoenix Wright and Apollo Justice and Clavier and Miles Edgeworth, I was thinking about, they're kind of a special case because they do have to go up against the original trilogy versions. They would be, in my opinion, they would be ranked higher if they can not only mimic what you would see, like the clips that you heard in the original trilogy, but they sound better and they still sound right for the character. And I think Sam Riegel did a better job as Phoenix Wright than Ben Judd did. Hot take, potentially, but that is largely my opinion. Now, Winston Payne here. Winston Payne is a tough one. I'm going to put him in C tier for now. Keep in mind, everything is liable to be moved around. But he has an iconic voice clip, but the voice clip itself is kind of hard to understand. Like, if you didn't see that he was saying objection, I could see some people thinking that he's kind of saying some sort of nonsense here. In a similar vein, I'm going to put Manfred von Karma in the C tier as well, because he has the same problem of being hard to understand. Like, he sounds menacing. He's like, objection! But beyond sounding kind of scary the first time, his objection really doesn't do much for me. Also, even if he is meant to look like this intimidating character, his objection voice clip just doesn't fit his character, in my opinion. Let's see. I know I have Apollo sitting off in the corner here, but I want to start with our original trilogy characters, and fortunately we don't have a ton of those. Let's go for Mia Fey. So, Mia originally didn't have any voice clips in Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, and Justice for All. But she gained voice clips when we went into Trials and Tribulations, since you were able to play as her. I'm going to put her in B tier here. See, she has the benefit, like Phoenix Wright does, and unlike Winston Payne and Manfred von Karma, that you can actually understand what she's saying. But one of the things that I think Phoenix Wright's clips do better than Mia's does, and maybe this isn't fair so much, because in the plot of Trials and Tribulations, where we're following Mia, she is a fledgling starting lawyer. Phoenix has the confidence and bravado to be like, objection! Whereas Mia's, I don't quite get that same sort of confidence from. But at the same time, like, Phoenix does have that confidence despite being put in the same position that Mia was put in at the time. Although, so in that sense, I feel like Phoenix's clips are more universal than Mia's were, in that, his clips work well for when he was a starting fledgling lawyer, and all the way up still into Apollo Justice when he's like a master who's just been disbarred for 7 years and can still hold his own. Again, maybe I'll move Mia up to A tier. I'm not so sure yet. Let's talk about Franziska Von Karma. We'll get to Edgeworth and I think it's just Edgeworth and Godot left for the original trilogy. Von Karma, unlike Phoenix and Edgeworth and Apollo, also has the tough time that she only has one voice clip, just like her father and Winston Payne. And Von Karma's is clear, but the two things that I think it lacks are that, Von Karma is supposed to be German. And, I mean, I guess to be fair, her father has the same sort of problem, too. But, I don't really get much emotion out of Von Karma's objection as far as, like, I am vindictive against Phoenix Wright and I want him to lose. And again, she doesn't She just doesn't sound German at all. So in that sense, I feel like it kind of fails her character. So I'm gonna put her in the D tier for now. Which there's a reason I didn't put like an F tier, an E tier, or anything in here because, like, none of these are bad. In some places, a D is a failing grade, but I consider a D to still be a passing grade. This is a 7 out of 10 objection. This is like an 8 out of 10. This is a 9 out of 10. This is a 9.5, and then S tier is like a perfect set of voice clips. Miles Edgeworth is an interesting case. I feel like, so first off, his clips are pretty clear. You can tell perfectly what he's saying. And he also gets the extra Eureka voice clip from Ace Attorney Investigations 1 and 2. But, and his voice actually does fit his character very well. The voice, the clips themselves feel like what you would hear out of this face, in my opinion. At the same time, they don't really fit the image of him being the demon prosecutor. Whereas Von Karma's does fit that image, I feel like Edgeworth's don't. So maybe I'll move Manfred up to B tier here, put him kind of on the end. I mean, in some places, the further along to the right in the tier they are, it's considered worse. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but I think that's how they rank things. I say it as if I know who the they are. I'll put Von Karma back at C, because I feel like his limitations stick out more. Whereas for Edgeworth, again, he's got the problem that Franziska has, in that I wish I got some emotion out of him, in that it's like, I want to have him be like, objection, to sound like kind of snobby. But he doesn't quite fit that, like, his character. He doesn't quite get that emotion out, but he has a clear clip, and I feel like it fits his character well enough. If he just had that emotion, he'd be up in the A tier, maybe even in the S tier. But for now, he's going to be placed in B. And that just leaves us with Godot, who only has one voice clip, but man, it's so good. And I'm really not considering the Japanese voice clips here much, but I'm going to give an exception to Godot, because Godot's Japanese voice actor was Hideki Kamiya. And, you kind of can't say no to too many things with Hideki Kamiya. And I don't want to get in trouble with that guy. He did a really good job voicing Godot in Japanese. But, I mean, Godot's, like, he's got that, like, his clip just has enough aggression in it to tell that he is against Phoenix Wright, and it's clear and it's loud, and I don't know, I just like it. So that covers all the original trilogy characters. So now let's take our remaining two for Apollo Justice, which are Apollo himself and Clavier Gavin. I'm gonna go hot take here and put Apollo's up in the S tier, classic Apollo's, because really, one thing that I think Apollo the character struggles in is that he honestly doesn't have a ton of defining character traits, but one of his few defining character traits is his chords of steel and how loud he is. And if there's something the voice actor for Apollo in just his own game got down, it was making him be loud. And, his voice clips are clear, like I want, and he's got enough emotion to be like, objection! Like, he's forcing it out. He's clearly a rookie, but he's trying hard here. So I'm going to put him in the S tier, because I feel like he fulfills all of the traits that I want, and then some, by ensuring that you're emphasizing Apollo's chords of steel approach. Now, Clavier, I don't know what it is with Capcom, the localization team for the series, and having German characters, but Clavier is similarly from Germany, and I can't tell. Just like with Von Karma, I can't tell. But where Clavier does a little bit better is that, again, he's also clear, and he is similarly, like, he has some inflection in his voice, but I actually feel like Franziska's works a little bit better. Like, I feel like Franziska has a slight tinge of being like frustrated and trying to take down Phoenix Wright, but whereas Clavier almost has too much of that when he's supposed to be kind of friendly against Apollo. So I don't know. Again, this is all kind of a subjective sort of thing, but that's how I feel about it. Oh, and I forgot there's one more apologist character, and that's his brother Christoph. I am similarly going to put Christoph in the D category. Now he only has a single. Well, I guess both the Gavins have just a single objection, but I don't know. I am not a big fan of Christoph's. I think they could have gone for something a little bit more. Like, I think his clip could have been a little bit more aggressive. Because on the one hand, it would work for the first case where he's mentoring Apollo and that he's really trying to take down Winston Payne. But it would have worked just as well going into the later cases. Or, well, really just case 4 where he is the culprit when he uses his objection to make it seem like he's upset that he's in jail and that he's upset that Apollo is taking him down here again, effectively. So I think there's missed potential with Christoph, but I don't think he is as bad as Franziska. So I'm gonna bump her up to the C tier here. Give her a little boost. And I'm going to also actually quickly jump to the modern Clavier and similarly put him in the D tier. And it's for similar problems as with classic Clavier, and that it's like, I can't tell he's German, for starters. I can't tell. And he has the added benefit of being a little more aggressive, so maybe I'll move him just to the left of classic Clavier, but, you know, I mean, Clavier in the second trilogy post-Apollo Justice is severely underutilized to begin with. So he really doesn't get much of a chance to shine at all. And even then, ironically, he ends up sounding more aggressive than classic Clavier. Actually, so I'll put classic Clavier all the way on the left. That's such a hard phrase to say. And I'll put modern Dual Destinies and Beyond Clavier in the middle, because, I mean, not only are you not going to a regular trial against him, so he shouldn't sound more aggressive against, Apollo. He still doesn't sound German to me. So classic Clavier barely wins it out, but it's still not much of a contest when you're talking D tier here. Pardon me. So let's move on to our small group of Investigations 1 characters. I'm going to put the big baddie Quercus Alba in the end of C tier. He has the same problem with Manfred von Karma, in that he's like an objection. So it's kind of hard to understand him. He also only has the one clip. And if you look at his design here, it doesn't look quite like it fits his character. But if you see the way he looks like when you truly reveal who Quercus Alba as a character is, the clip fits a lot better. And you actually don't hear his objection clip until he goes mask off big bad guy in the game. So I kind of wish, so the character Alba is from Alebast, which is a fake country, just like this next character I think I'm going to throw up here, Shilong Lang from the Republic of Zhengfa. They're both from fake countries, but I think it would have been fun to see the localization team come up with an accent for this place to try to give them some kind of, accent for what they would sound like from that area. And that's just a little bit of a missed opportunity. So it fits his character. Beyond that, doesn't really get much recognition. And for that same reason, but for those same sorts of reasons, I'm going to put Shilong Lang into the B tier, but he has the benefit of having an exclusive voice clip that no one else has ever had. He uses the phrase "not so fast" for his objection equivalent, and I think he earns a few points for that. But he has similar weaknesses to Alba, but I guess he also does have the benefit of having a very clear voice. Let's see. I am going to throw Callisto U into the D tier, but I'm gonna put her just after Christoph Gavin, because I think she has kind of a weak objection, especially for a character. Like, I think it fits how she looks, but like, ironically, she's like a big laugher. So I'd almost want her to have like a more fun objection than like her just objection sounding kind of generic-ish voice. And I don't know, she doesn't have a very iconic objection. And the same holds true for Jacques Portman. Jacques Portsman, who I'm going to put... Ah, man, that's a tough one. I think I'm going to put him above... I don't want to do this, but I'm going to put him above modern Clavier, but before classic Clavier. Because... like, he has a clear voice. I think the clip fits his character. But... and it sounds aggressive because he was actually accused of a crime, and so of course he wants to defend himself and not be declared guilty, but I don't know, it's kind of like Callisto U, it's not a very iconic objection for a reason. And so this just leaves us now with modern Dual Destinies and Beyond clips. And modern Edgeworth, I am going to put in the top of C tier, because I mean, I actually I like his clip. A lot of people don't like his clip, and I can completely understand why. It does not get anywhere near classic Edgeworth's clips, but it's clear, it's understandable. I could still interpret the clip as sounding like Edgeworth, but it does not surpass classic Edgeworth, and that's what I'd want to even put it close to B tier or especially beyond. And I have similar feelings with Apollo, modern Apollo. I think I'm gonna put him just above Franziska here, because he does not get, like, I think, like, the clips are clear. I could interpret the character as Apollo. But where he fails is classic Apollo has that loudness. Modern Apollo just kind of sounds like aggressive, which is fine, and confident, which again is fine, but he doesn't strike me as doing the chords of steel exercises in the same way that classic Apollo does. I could maybe I'll just bump him up to the bottom of B tier here. I think that's the best I can give him, because I don't think he has bad clips, to be clear. But when I think of Apollo, even though when I think of Apollo, I think of his modern voice clips, I think the classic Ace Attorney 4 ones fit his character better. Now, you may have wondered when I did Winston Payne earlier why I didn't put Winston Payne in again. Well, it's really because he's not Winston Payne. This is his brother Gaspin Payne, who has such a different voice clip from Winston, but I think they all just kind of sit right beside each other, as it's just kind of a generic sort of objection. Like, it sounds evil-ish, but I don't get the impression that Gaspin Payne is like a really evil character. He's just kind of he's wishy-washy like his brother Winston, but he thinks he's like, you know, the coolest prosecutor around. And his voice clip doesn't really give me that sort of feeling. Like, I mean, Athena describes him in the game as an arrogant jerk. And he's like, the way he's written is certainly arrogant, but the clip doesn't. His clips don't scream arrogant to me. They scream villainous. Let's give Athena. I'll put Athena up there. I'm going to give her an A tier spot. She is not better than Classic Phoenix or Godot by a long shot, but she's clear. She sounds aggressive and confident. And when I see her face, I think the voice that Wendy Lee gave her perfectly comes out of the character for these clips. If I were including how some of these characters perform their cutscenes for the modern trilogy, I would definitely move Athena down, and I would actually probably move modern Apollo up, but as well as modern Edgeworth up, but I'm just considering the speech bubble clips here, And I think for those, Athena's clips are phenomenal. Let's put up the last Dual Destinies related character, and that's Simon Blackquill, who I don't think he quite surpasses classic Edgeworth, but I think he surpasses. Well, I don't know. He's got some really good clips. I think his objection is fantastic, and I think the silence is really like his silence clip is really good for the character, but they're not. He's not. He doesn't have enough iconic uses of the line for me to really want to bump him up to A tier. Like, or at least he's not iconic enough of a character. Like, it's hard to replace classic Edgeworth. I might. Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna switch Edgeworth to the top of classic Edgeworth to the top of B tier, and move Mia down to third place and put Blackquill there. Similarly, I guess I'm as much as I like the clips, I'm not convinced they fit his character. Like the silence definitely does, but his objection not so much. And some people have even argued that Blackquill's objection clip should have been switched with modern Edgeworth's, and I could see that. But I think Blackquill just needed a slightly different objection. Even though I love it, I agree it would have worked better on modern Edgeworth. And so now we're just left with the Spirit of Justice characters. And let's start with Raifa. So she gets the unique voice clip bonus points like Shilong Lang got. But I don't think her voice, the person who voiced her, fits her character at all. So for that reason, I'm gonna put her right in the middle of C tier. Like, the voice clip itself is fine, it's clear, it's defiant, which is what like how she's trying to act against Phoenix Wright throughout the whole game. While also trying, I mean, that's enough trying to calm down. Well, maybe not so much calm down, but again, like, defiantly argue against Phoenix. Like, the clip works, but again, the voice she got, I think, is too mature for how young of a character she is. Let's go with Nayuta Sadmadhi. He's such a tough case. I like that they did not squander the potential that they had for Shilong Lang and Quirkus Alba for this one. But I just think his clips are kind of weak sauce. I would actually argue that I think they're better than all of these, even classic Clavier and Kristoff, which many people like. But Nayuta's is not as good as any of the rest of the characters in C tier. Even modern Edgeworth, I think, is better than his. And it's just because, I mean, he's got a forceful objection, and he has the uniqueness of having the one Kuraini's Satra clip. But I don't know. The clips just don't really do anything for me, and I don't feel like his voice, again, kind of like Raifa, I don't think Nayuta's voice fits his character, or fits his character design. And that leaves us with his father, Dirk Sadmadhi, and Queen Garan Sigatar Kurain. And I am gonna put Dirk. I'm actually gonna bump him to the head of C tier. He's got a loud, aggressive objection, but it hardly gets utilized. And I actually think the clip fits his character perfectly, but it's just underutilized. There's not enough situations where you get to hear him object to where it seems like he was important enough to deserve a voice clip. But and again, it's clear, it sounds right for his character, unlike Raifa, Padma Kurain, and his son Nayuta. But I think if it had just been used a little more, and it had just like that one moment, or if he had something unique instead of an objection, to have something different for it, even though he was formerly a lawyer. I think it could have been a little bit better. I don't know. Yeah, I'm changing my mind. I'm just gonna put him at the bottom. No, I will put him. Yeah, I'll put him at the bottom of B tier. Good, not amazing. And then Garon, she gets the bonus points of having a unique clip of the such insolence, but like, she has clear clips. She has, again, an aggressive objection, but it's actually not aggressive enough for a character. So, like, the design they have on here really isn't how she looks through most of the game, or through the case that you go up against her. In fact, during that case, she has a very different design. But I don't think it's quite enough. I think I'll put her just barely after Nayuta, but it's like just barely, hardly edging him out here. So that is my tier list, the first one I've ever made for these Ace Attorney related voice clips. So I hope that was fun. I had fun doing it. It was really interesting having to go through in my head to decide like why certain characters should go in certain spots. So I might, I would be very willing to do something like this again if I can think of a good reason to do something like that. So with that all taken care of, that concludes our Creative Outlet Podcast Gaming Birthday Extravaganza Ace Attorney episode. I want to wish the game a happy 20th anniversary, and I'm hoping to see the series continue for another 20 years. So, kind of like with all of these, I wish I could give an idea of how long this was, but I have to record an intro first, so at least it's gone on. So far, I've recorded just shy of 2 hours. I'm sure this could end up being the longest episode yet. Please, as always, do your typical sorts of engagement-y things depending on the platform. I would love to see some voice messages sent in to me at anchor.fm/THECOP, and I look forward to seeing everybody in our next edition of the Creative Outlet Podcast Gaming Birthday Extravaganza. Thank you very much.